Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel, where it is time for the match preview of Liverpool versus Aston Villa. I am back. The live streams are back. I don't sound like Sean Dyche after having 10 pints and 10 fags a day last week. Obviously, if you did watch the videos that I did last week, you could see that my voice was bad. But now I'm finally back. So I have been joined by a friend of the channel. I haven't spoken to him in a while, so it'd be good to get all things Aston Villa. Chris Ellis from Villa Together, and now Rivalry Aside TV. Chris, how you doing, mate?
Very well, thanks, mate. About yourself?
Much better, thank you. Much better as well. But I have to say, I mean, we can obviously go back to the games on. We can obviously go back to the game. In October, but how have you found this season? Because obviously people will have said that this season that it was a season of improvement, but you've probably exceeded expectations. Is now the next target Europe, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I mean, obviously we had new owners that came in a couple of years ago, and obviously they're multi-billionaires, ambitious. Changed the setup in and around the club, and I suppose it changed the outlook. Obviously, at that time we were in the Championship, so it's stages of progression. Getting ourselves, their first task or the first aim for the club would have been promotion. Obviously, that happened. A lot of people probably would argue it happened probably a year earlier than they expected because, Dean Smith. When Dean Smith came in, we were 13th in the Championship, and we were miles off in February of 2018. Managed to get promoted, come up, obviously stay up on the last day last season, and then this season, obviously massive improvement. We've already exceeded the points tally that we got last season, so 9 points ahead of what we had last season. Obviously, there's still, I think we've got 8 games to go. I think 9 games left. We've got. Expectations, will naturally go up throughout the season, which I think they did do. We had a brilliant start, won our first 4 games. And, I suppose in theory, we were still in touching distance of Europe. I think, though, if you look up at the table, the teams immediately above us fighting for Europe, you probably say are better teams. It's been a good season. It's the first time in probably 5 years where we've not had to wait until the last day of the season to know what league we're going to be in next season. Obviously we had the relegation, and after that you're looking at Championship playoffs and things like that, and leaving it to the last day to know what division we're going to be in. So to avoid that is good. I think a lot of people would probably be slightly frustrated in the fact that we were doing. We were doing well. We had a really good December where, we put ourselves in a really good position to get into Europe. And then we had a couple of issues, the main one being the COVID outbreak we had in January. Obviously, that coincided with the last time we spoke, which was around the time when Villa played Liverpool in the FA Cup, which was an interesting game. And I think there's the fallout from that in terms of, it's not just a case of you have COVID, you get over COVID. There's everything else. We had Bodymore Heath, our training ground, closed for 3 weeks. Players are then, we're training in back gardens, in gyms, all that kind of stuff. It's totally different. So it takes a bit of time to get up to things. And our form in 2021 has been pretty poor, to be honest. And I think it's probably, as well as it looks, as a Villa fan watching the games, it looks a lot worse than it actually has been because we had such a good start of the season. So there's a little frustration there because if there was a couple of games that we'd got more points out of, you look at, no disrespect to these teams, but we got 1 point off Burnley home and away. Got 1 point off Brighton home and away. We've got nothing off West Ham. They're having a good season, but you just look at them, you think those games, if could have got 1, maybe 2 wins against those teams, just would have put us in a bit of a stronger position. But again, as I said at the start, at least the worry's not there, worrying about getting relegated, things like that. Obviously, with the owners, progression is the next stage. So as you said, right to start the show, Europe, hopefully, next season, that's the kind of aim. But it's tough because I suppose there's, you kind of bring Everton into the mix. They're outside the top 6, but a good side, good manager, some good players. So hopefully we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. It's been. I think I have to say that Villa have been so good this season, and I think only the way is up for Villa as well. Let's say hello to a few people. Strip Bear is in. I've seen you on the Football Terrace and other channels. Hello, nice to have you here. First time here live. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Josh is in the building. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Josh, as well. Let me just scroll up because there's been a lot of comments. Chris Welsh is in. Hi lads, hope you're well. I am doing tickety boo, my friends. Tickety boo. Anyway, before I go, really love your Twitter and we'll check out your channel and subscribe. Thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate that. Cardiff City fan is in. Liverpool should win, but Villa will defend a lot and attack when they can. Well, it is at Anfield, and as everybody knows, as the title says, can Liverpool end the bad Anfield run? Because it's 6 defeats in a row as well, so it's not very good. And Julian is in. Hello, Julian. Be a tight game. Both teams will score. What Villa have done this season has been incredible, and how better than anyone thought. But since the turn of the year, some things didn't go their way, and they have dipped. Yeah. Do you think the international break came at the right time for Villa?
Yeah, I think so. And it's funnily enough, throughout the season, this season, the international breaks usually come at the wrong time when we've been on a good run of form. Then the international break comes. So I suppose the recent international break came, just gave us maybe a bit of extra time to kind of sort ourselves out. I mean, we weren't great against Fulham, but we got the win. So that's something. And as well, it's happened a few times this season, getting a win without particularly playing well, which we haven't been able to do for a while, to be honest. So that's quite good. But yeah, I think I'd agree with you on that one. I just think it probably give us a bit of time just to kind of maybe step back and look at things without Jack Grealish and try and work things a bit better.
Yeah, definitely. That was the next question I was coming on to, because the build-up of this game has been about Jack Grealish. Do you think he will return at the weekend at Anfield?
No.
I
think it's going to be a while. I don't know what's going on. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories going around, shall we say. There was when he first got injured, there was a lot of talk about having shin splints and injuries had before. And it just seems like that every press conference, Dean Smith seemed to be, maybe hiding something, wasn't fully, kind of open possibly. It just seemed every week it was, Jack Grealish, maybe, he'll be back in a couple of weeks, he'll be back in a couple of weeks, he'll be back in a month, he'll be back in 6 weeks. It seemed to be very odd. And then last week, I think he said 99.9% sure he'll play against Fulham. Well, somehow we managed, with the 0.01% possibility, which was him not playing against Fulham. And apparently the reason was that he pulled up in training on the Friday or the Saturday, and then he made it. Apparently, he said, "I'm not going to play," which is unlike Jack Grealish, to be honest. He's been kicked all his career. So, and he's been kicked all his career. A lot of his injuries he's had a couple of bad injuries, which are kind of, I suppose, freak injuries in all fairness. A couple of other injuries that you have are impact injuries, and usually plays through them. In terms of muscle injuries, he doesn't often get a muscle injury, so that seems odd. But they've been a bit coy again. It seems like, then, despite being 99.99% sure he's going to play last week, it doesn't seem like, despite him just pulling up, he's not going to come in. So, I don't know. I don't think he'll play. Maybe in a couple of weeks, but I'm pretty sure he won't play against Liverpool.
Interesting. Josh has said this. I don't know what Chris thinks, but if Villa were able to field a proper team in the FA Cup, I think they could have gone far.
Possibly. I mean, we did all right in the Carabao Cup last season. Got to the final. I don't know. I suppose a lot of the time it depends on the look of the draw, doesn't it?
Yeah, Anthony Metza says, hope things change for Liverpool at home. So do I. Whenever Liverpool sees a low block, they totally lose themselves. There should be something that should have been addressed a long time ago. Yeah, absolutely. Jack Mack is in the building. Afternoon, lads. Hope you're all safe, Reds. Beat another tricky game against Villa. Need a better improvement in the midfield. Get some momentum for the second leg. Chris, what's been one of the most positive aspects of Villa's play this year? What would you like used to see improve next season?
I think that the biggest thing is two things for me, really. I think that the main thing is defensively, we've been fantastic. We've got the third best defence in the league. Man City got the best, then Chelsea. We're one goal worse off than Chelsea. So, to be up there with those two is pretty good. So defensively, we've been solid. Those four, Cash, Konza, Mings and Target, the main ones. Obviously, when, like Courtney Hawes, El Mohammadi have dropped in, they've done pretty well. Attacking wise, obviously with Jack Grealish, we're pretty good. He can do pretty much anything on his own. Ollie Watkins has been really, really good this season for us. Big part of our attacking play. I think next season I'd just like to see us. I think ideally we need a bit more creativity because when Jack Grealish isn't there, we massively miss him. Anyone would, missing a player like that. So I'd like to see a top winger come in and another centre midfielder. I'd like to go all out on two really good players, one being a winger, one being a centre midfielder, to improve us for next season.
Yeah, definitely. Someone's just mentioned 7-2 soon. What I will only say is 3-0. Thank you. Greetings, good people. Hope you're all well and doing great as always. I'm good, brethren, John. Thank you. Doug, what worried you the most yesterday? How you played versus Arsenal to last night? How it looked like two very different teams? Well, first of all, I only saw the highlights, but from what I've heard, it was a poor first half performance and a better second half performance. But we gave ourselves a mountain to climb. In all honesty, defensively, I think I think everyone saw against Arsenal that they hardly attacked us. And you look at Real Madrid last night; they attacked us, and I think that's a big aspect. And I think this Villa side at the weekend will definitely be attacking. Because they already have a very good result. We will come to the 7-2 because I've been trying not to mention it all day. Good afternoon, Shane. Hope you're doing well. What are the thoughts of Chris on the issue of Ross Barkley? Does he think making the deal a permanent is good and fair for the club? Already on high wages and started off well, but gone missing in injuries. That's a good question.
It's a tough one because I think the thing with Ross Barkley is no one would question that he's a talented footballer. He's got a lot of talent, but he's never really, properly made it, has he? There's always been this. I suppose a lot of people looked at it like unfulfilled kind of potential. He did well at Everton, moved to Chelsea, did okay at Chelsea, but never really nailed down a first team place. Again, probably same with England. And then he came to us and you thought, I think his first game was against Liverpool in the 7-2, and you thought, bloody hell, what we got here? Ross Barkley seems up for it, and he was brilliant. He had a couple of really good games. He was part of the good play that we had between then and November. He got injured in November, came back in January, coincided with all the COVID stuff. I mean, funny, and it shows us the fine margins because in October, November, you'd ask me the question, I'd be like, yeah, definitely snap up Ross Barkley. But now I'd kind of be like, no, I wouldn't. He got injured and he's come back and he's just been. He looks like a guy who's won a competition, and I just think just the two contrasts. It's just ridiculous. I don't know if a big part of why he hasn't quite made it is. The mental side of things. He always seems that mentally, I think mentally he's not the brightest tool in the box. So I think that the times he takes a couple of seconds too long when he's on the ball. But also I think, is his head right there in terms of the work rate and the desire? And I just don't know if he's kind of throwing his toy. He seems like he's throwing his toys out the pram a bit. With us, we were 1-0 down against Fulham at the weekend and we'd hardly created anything. We made 3 subs and one of them Ross Barkley wasn't one of them, and it kind of, I suppose speaks volumes when we brought on, a youth team, kind of product who's played, I think, about 12 games for Villa this season. Then we brought on a winger, which supposes, and then we brought on a striker who barely scores goals over Ross Barkley. So I think based on that, I'd probably say that Dean Smith is kind of done with Ross Barkley, in all fairness.
Yeah, I think he is as well. Sportcat 1, thank you for reminding me this. The thing is, pretty much of all Liverpool's Anfield defeats this season have been 1-0. Thank you very much for that. Oh, here we go. Villa need a centre midfielder. Don't worry, Chris, we have your back. How about Bakayoko for Grealish? Great deal, in my opinion.
No, we'll be all right. We'll pass on that one. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, Bakayoko, definitely not. Not so sure about ending the bad run at Anfield, especially without the 12-man fans. It's so hard, especially with the result of yesterday. Would be hard. Would have been confident if fans were there. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Right. We have to mention, because the elephant in the room is the last time the two teams played in the Premier League, Villa won 7-2. Now, is that your best result this season?
Oh, yeah, by far. I think there's a couple of performances which are up there. I think against Palace when we went down to 10 men in December, I think it was Boxing Day. That was a real good performance. But yeah, 7-2 against the champions, it's got to be the best performance of the season. Yeah,
definitely. There's a good question here from Anthony Metzer. Thoughts on Morgan Sanson? Has he been double decent?
I think he's been what you'd expect from someone coming from France, part way through the season. He has played this season for Marseille, so it's not like fitness is an issue in terms of match fitness, but he's had a couple of injuries. He showed some nice touches, gets around pretty well, but I just think the pace of the Premier League has probably taken him by surprise. So I think next season we'll see the best out of him. But yeah, he's shown some nice touches, but jury's still out, shall we say.
Thank you, Jack. Hope you all have a lovely day, lovely rest of your day, Reds. Great seeing Chris again, mate. All the best, lads. Gotta shoot. He'll never walk alone. Yeah. What have you I'm going to ask you this. What have you made of Liverpool ever since that 7-2 defeat? I mean, it has been a bit up and down. Not going to lie. It has been up and down. What have you made of Liverpool, sort of as an outside point of view?
I mean, there's no arguments Liverpool were for, you say, take this season out of the equation. The two seasons before, across the two of them, were the best team in England. Obviously, Man City were close. They won the league 2 years ago. They're going to win it this year. But Liverpool were just fantastic. They're so close to winning it 2 years ago. They won it last season. They've been fantastic. I just think it's almost like the 7-2 was, I don't know, I feel like it was the start of the kind of the cracks appearing. Obviously, after that, injuries to Gomez, injuries to Van Dijk, which are massive. There's been other injuries elsewhere. I suppose the poor form of, Salah's salary, he'll always score goals, and he's been pretty decent throughout. But Firmino and Mane, I think, have struggled. I think missing Henderson's been big as well. I think the last the couple of seasons beforehand, he almost seemed like he set the tempo for you guys. He was doing everything in midfield, and he set the tempo, and everyone kind of depended on him. He was the fullbacks getting forward, then he was the one sitting in, organising everyone. I suppose Van Dijk as well. It's two massive misses. But yeah, I think after the 7-2, I mean, it was. I was shocked. And the thing is, as well, I think we spoke about after the game, didn't we? It could have really been more. It was just a real odd game. And we just kind of, I think tactically it was spot on in terms of getting between the lines. We kind of were looking at the spaces behind the fullbacks. We were targeting Joe Gomez because Van Dijk's a world-class defender, and it just all worked. And then after that, I think, the cracks started to appear then, and after that, obviously, you had a lot of issues with injuries, which, I know it's kind of like Liverpool fans will probably mention it, but not a lot. No one's going to be able to deal without a player like Van Dijk Jordan Henderson as well. They're massive misses, and it makes a big difference. I think, like it showed, having Alisson as well out the side for a period of time, because you go back to Liverpool, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and they would obviously quality was there, but bringing in Alisson, bringing in Van Dijk made a massive difference, and that's what took them from being top 4 to top 2 and challenging for the title, wasn't it? So having one of those missing is tough. Obviously, 2 of them is massive. So yeah, it's been an odd one. I think it's been an odd season overall, hasn't it? Really.
Oh, it has. It's been a mental season, and we've got 2 games this week where we play you guys at Anfield. I think Tottenham have got Man United as well. So Man United will be wanting to right a wrong, as you say. Yeah. I'll get to the lineups very, very quickly, Chris. But his lineup is Alisson, Arnold, Kabak, Phillips, Robertson, Fabinho, Thiago, Milner, Salah, Firmino, Jota. Interesting indeed. And he's going for Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 1. Brethren John says, seems Aston Villa has addressed their transfer woes by getting a new sporting director, giving Grealish a new deal. They no longer a relegation fight team. So what's the next move for Villa?
I think probably goes back to what we mentioned before, kind of building towards Europe, probably getting us back to what a lot of Villa fans would say where we belong. Obviously we've got a proud history. Prior to getting, you look at 10 years ago, really, we were challenging top 4. We had 3 top 6 finishes in a row. Late 90s, we were always, top 4, top 6. So trying to get back towards there, I think that's the key. The kind of transfer dealings. We made some dud signings, in the Championship. You look at, the likes of Ross McCormack and some players like that. And even last year, going from Danny Drinkwater to Ross Barkley, albeit Barkley's form's dropped off a cliff, but the 2 players are poles apart. So it's kind of making the move up and buying the right players, and then trying to make the step up towards challenging top 7, top 6.
Yeah, definitely. Chris Ross says all Salah, Firmino, Man and Jota will have to play second leg versus Madrid, so we have to go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Hello to Liam Carson. Do you know if Josh is yes, Josh is going nowhere. I know he's got the new position at the Blue Podcast, and congratulations to him. I think he'll do a fantastic job, and obviously I will definitely tune into that. But no, Josh is going nowhere on this podcast. But funnily enough, the podcast wouldn't be anything without his edits, so definitely. Anthony Metzer, would Liverpool missing the top 4 be a blessing in disguise for you guys, as you will trim your squad, get rid of injured and squad players, and then have full attack to the league? People have asked me that, and to be honest, it worked for Chelsea. If you remember 15-16, I think they finished 10th, and then they won it again in 16-17. So you could be right. You could be right as well. Thank you for the amazing content. Keep on keeping. Interesting. Thank you, Chris. Afternoon, fellas. Can Villa break to the top 6 next year? Says Mr. Mysterium.
Hope so. We'll see. I think, like we've said it a couple of times, that's the next step. Hopefully Neil and hopefully Leicester drop out.
Yeah. Neil, you're everywhere, my friend. Must be following me. Also, can we have a combined of 11 using only fit players? Plus, who would be the keeper? Alice. Oh, I think we'd be here. I think we'd be here all day, in all honesty. Of course, mate. What else? So, starting 11s the weekend. What's your starting 11 for Aston Villa?
It's a tough one because we weren't great the weekend, and the subs did well. We kind of went to a 4-4-2 when Keenan Davis came on. I think a lot of people want that to happen, but I think bearing in mind we're playing Liverpool, we'll stick to the kind of 4-2-3-1/4-3-3. So I think we'll go Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Mings, Target, Louise, McGinn. It could be that they could either bring in Marvelous Nakamba and play McGinn further forward, or Sanson and do the same. I think Sanson will come in. Well, he started, to be fair, the weekend, so the midfield 3 will stay the same. El Ghazi will drop out for Trezeguet, so it'll be Trezeguet and Traore behind Ollie Watkins. I think that's what it'll be. I think the only difference could potentially be whether it be Sanson or Nakamba, possibly Jacob Ramsey as well. I think that's the only possible change would be centre midfield from what I'm going. But I'm sure Trezeguet will come in, and the rest of it, the defence and the goalkeeper picks itself.
He has a wee mini revival, isn't he, Trezeguet? When it comes to the last couple of games this season, he always has a good bout of goals and assists, and fair play to him. He got 2 goals at the weekend, so you'll be hoping that he can continue this wee trend.
Hope so
as well. I've just read that one. Liverpool in Europa next year. Who knows? Funnily enough, we're only 2 points off Chelsea. That's how mad this season is. We're only 2 points off Chelsea. Only 2 points off West Ham as well. Aston Villa need to come out of the traps firing. Liverpool defensively are a wounded animal. Yes, we definitely are. You know that feeling very well, Neil. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So I've seen a few other. So this is my Liverpool team to play Aston Villa. There are a couple of changes in here. I will just say that now. So 3, 2, 1. There we go. So my lineup would be Alisson, Trent, Kabak, Phillips, Shimikas. Yes, that's the big one. Fabinho, Keita, Jones, Shaqiri, Salah, Jota. Then on the bench, you got Adrian, Nico Williams, Wijnaldum, Thiago, Firmino, Ox, Milner, Robertson. And that's meant to be Mane at the end, not Reece Williams. Don't know why I got Reece Williams in my head, but yes, I think there will be a couple of changes. Reason being, Robertson has played way too much football. I'll say that now. And I think there'll be a couple of changes in the midfield. I think Thiago and Gini will be on the bench. And I would bring in Keita and Jones. I know Keita had a bit of a nightmare game against Real Madrid last night, but you've got to say that I think he will start. So looking at that team, do you think you can get at Kabak and Phillips?
I think so. I mean, Phillips is a decent player. He's shown this season. He's been all right, hasn't he? I think the tough thing for Phillips is who he plays alongside. I think it's tough as well with playing alongside Kabak. They're not bad defenders, but then they're new to first team football and playing in the Premier League. So I think so. Yeah, it depends. Like Neil mentioned, we need to come out and get at you, which we did at Villa Park. Hopefully, we did the same. You look last night at some of the chances that Real Madrid created. I know it's Real Madrid, so they've obviously got much better players than we've got, but they created a lot of chances, particularly down Trent's side. I think Robertson's had a pretty good season, in all fairness. He's been pretty solid, but like you say, that's probably why he's played so much, because he's, the rest of the defence has been either injured or out of form. So he's kind of needed to play because he's had such a good couple of years. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, definitely, but it would be great to. I mean, when was the last time we did a double over Liverpool? I think it'd be unlikely, but you just don't know. I suppose will Liverpool have one eye on the Champions League and trying to get back into it?
It's very, very true. I actually can't remember the last time you guys did the double over us. I think it was I don't know actually. Was it not the 2011-2012 season? Or am I thinking, because I know you beat us at Anfield. I know you beat us 3-1 at Anfield, but then I'm thinking I think we may have won 2-0 at Villa Park.
Yeah, I think you did, yeah.
It's interesting.
I'm just trying to think over the years of number of times I've seen Villa beat Liverpool at Villa Park, and it's I can't even think how many times it is. Probably hardly any. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to try and find that out.
Yeah, definitely. Demo Dre is in. Hello, Demo. Hope you're doing well. Robertson needs a rest for real. Yeah, 100%. He's played so much football, but as Chris says, he has had a good season. Jones has to play. Absolutely. We definitely need his creativity as well. Can Liverpool afford to make too many changes, especially when you're fighting for European footy? I think he will rotate the squad. I actually do think he might rotate the squad this weekend, and then go full out for that game against Real Madrid. Because as I said, tie isn't over. Stranger things have happened at Anfield. Let's just say that. Well, Klopp's lack of changes mean you miss out on top four. They've not changed the majority of the season. Yeah, you could do, Neil. It could do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we have to end this Anfield bad run very, very soon indeed. Well, but when Big Sam's teams are scoring 5 goals in the Prem, anything can happen. Yeah. Absolutely. Combined 11, 4-3-3. So this would be if everyone was fit. Okay, Martinez, Trent, Nat, Tyrone, Robertson, Thiago Fabinho, Nakamba, based on form, Jota, Mane, Salah. That's pretty good. The only change I would probably say in there, maybe Watkins.
Yeah, I was thinking Watkins and probably Konza. To be fair, Konza's had Tyrone Mings had a decent season, but Ezri Konza's been pretty much flawless this season.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Konza over Mings, and yeah, I think Watkins could probably get himself in there.
Cheers, Neil. 7-2 has to be the best result of the season, more than Man United's 9-0 thrashing of Southampton. Yeah. But going on to the Anfield home form, will that have any bearing on Saturday's game, do you think?
I don't know, because it's funny because you look at it, how good Liverpool were at home before. Mm-hmm. Was it Brighton who got the first win against them, or was that
Burnley?
Burnley, and then obviously then there was 6 defeats in a row. So you could very easily go. I know it's football; you could obviously go 2 ways. But in terms of Liverpool, could carry this on, or they could just get back to winning ways and then beat us, and then carry on and not lose for 60 games or something at Anfield. Like it shows the record. The record they had, at Anfield was pretty impressive. It was still a way off, I think, what the record Chelsea had at Stamford Bridge under Mourinho. But still, how many games was it? 47 was it, or something? 40 something. Liverpool.
Yeah, it was
Anfield.
It was 68 across all competitions.
Yeah.
And I think it was 40. Honestly, I can't actually remember, but I do think it was definitely 68 games over all competitions.
But then obviously, it's like we say, this season's been an odd one, and I think people who've been to Anfield know what it's like with the fans at Anfield and in the Kop and all that kind of stuff. It's totally different. It's the same as a lot of grounds, being an away side going into a stadium like that. It is like it is, like people say, the 12th man, isn't it? So it could go either way. I think though this is an opportunity for us to kind of carry on, against Liverpool struggles.
That's very interesting. My combined 11 based on this season: Martinez, Cash, Konza, Mings, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, Grealish, Salah, Watkins, Jota. I have to say that is probably accurate.
Yeah, I think it is, to be fair, because those. Yeah, I think Matt Targett's had a good season, but I think Robertson has been pretty solid for Liverpool this season. Obviously, Fabinho had a good season, won a few. Henderson, as we've said, a big part of Liverpool. So yeah, I think that is probably bang on, to be fair.
Yeah, well done, Chris. Because honestly, I think we would have been here all day if we were trying to do a combined 11. Anyway, so Chris, before I let you go, what is your score prediction for Saturday?
I want to go 1-0 Villa. I think we'll get an early goal. Ollie Watkins with an early goal, and then we'll have some good chances. Liverpool will have some good chances as well, but we'll hang on, and with our good defence, good goalkeeper, I think we'll get the 1-0 win.
We have to end it. Have to end it very, very soon. Have to end it very, very soon. To be honest, I was debating Robertson and Target, funnily enough. Oh, there you go. Yeah. But Grealish isn't fit. Why is he in the list? Because we may all include VVD.
Oh yeah, I think someone did say based on players who were just fit. I don't know. I suppose what change would you make? Take Grealish out.
Adrian, what are you talking about, Josh? Adrian doesn't get into a combined 11. Don't even start. I am going to go for a Liverpool win. I'm going to go 2-1. But I do think you'll score first. I'm actually going to go for Super John McGinn to score for you guys.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go for Super John McGinn. For us, I am gonna go for Curtis Jones because I do believe he scored his first goal for Liverpool last season against you guys, and I am going to go for. Let's have someone who hasn't scored in a while. Let's go for a Fabinho goal. Why not? Let's go for Fabinho and who was the other one I said? Jones. Yeah, Jones. I'm gonna say that. As well. Grealish played most of the season, though. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you. Chris Welsh, Jota and Salah will score because only one's scoring. Yeah, what have you made of Jota, actually? Because many people criticised the amount that we actually paid for him, but it's proven to be quite a good signing.
Well, I saw something the other day. I don't know who. Someone showed some tweets where someone tweeted saying that Liverpool wouldn't pay just under 50 million for Timo Werner, who, proven goal scorer in the Bundesliga, but they paid 45 million for Jota, who got, 6 goals last season for Wolves or whatever. I think the thing is, because I've got a lot of, where I live as well, a lot of family support Wolves. Yeah. So I've watched a lot of Wolves games over the last few seasons, and Jota was probably, people talk about, Adama Traore, Raul Jimenez, people like that. But Jota has been one of the best players for the last few seasons. He went off the boil a bit slightly, but he was scoring hat tricks in the Europa League. He very, very good player. And he's just shown, it's not. I know it's easier for a player to come into a better side. So obviously going from Wolves to Liverpool, it is easier for him. But at the same time, Liverpool have been out of sorts this season, and he's done really, really well. So he's a good signing. I think, probably at the time you think 45 million, a lot of money, but he's a top player. And when you sign one of the best players from a club in the Premier League who don't necessarily need the money, and who are they had two 7th place finishes over the last 2 seasons. It's going to cost a lot of money. So, when you look at the Werner Jota comparison, just because of that, that tweet I mentioned, obviously it's the better deal. Because I'm sure Werner was linked with Liverpool a lot last season, wasn't he? Most of the summer. I think as well, which has been the case with Liverpool certainly in the last couple of years, their transfer business has been pretty good, because you look at beforehand, and you go back to the likes of when Balotelli, Barini, Ricky Lambert. These players were coming in because they'd done reasonably well at a club, or we're not scoring goals, so let's go and sign strikers. But then after that, it was like, right, okay, we need a top goalkeeper, so in comes Alisson. We need a left back, Robertson comes in. We need a centre back, Van Dijk. We need centre midfielders. I know Naby Keita's not been great, and that was big money. But Fabinho came in, was good. Salah, Firmino, Mane, all been fantastic. So their transfer business has been really good, because rather than, and I'll use Chelsea as an example, rather than go for a player because they've done something really well and we'll think about how we'll fit them in afterwards. Yeah, they've looked for, Jota can play. He can play in a number 10 role, and he can play anywhere across the front 3, and that's exactly what you needed. And he's done really well. So he's been a good sign, and I think he'll only get better as well.
Yeah, definitely. Anthony Messer, thank you for the content. Always looking forward to it, man. Thank you, Chris. Looking for an EPL team to support, perhaps. Maybe follow Villa.
Yep, may as well.
Absolutely. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure to get you back on and to speak all things Aston Villa. Just tell us a little bit about, because you're on Rivalry Aside TV. How are you finding that?
Yeah, so Rivalry Aside TV set up by Ben and Luke. Ben's a Liverpool fan. Luke is a Spurs fan. And there's also, so Dom does West Ham content. Jay does Man United content, and I do Aston Villa content. And to be fair, I can't fault just the channel itself, Ben and Luke have done an amazing job doing what they do. They're really on top of things. They work really hard to get things sorted. So most weeks you'll do. Most weeks we'll all kind of try and do a preview with opposition fans.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it depends if you can try and get hold of somebody. If not, then we'll do post match stuff. But the lads, usually Ben and Luke, will do. I think they do it on a Monday night, about 5:30. They do like a weekly catch up and look back at all the games, look back at the predictions, stuff like that. But yeah, so it's just really good, well run channel. They put out some really good content, and they're great blokes as well. So. So yeah, obviously, we said before I came on, I still use Villa Together on Twitter, mainly because of work. And I stopped doing the Villa Together stuff because it wasn't quite going the way I wanted it to. So I've kind of reached out to Rivalry side, joined up with them just so I could still keep doing stuff, with other people. So yeah, and it's been great so far.
Excellent. Yeah, well, obviously go over to Rivalry Side TV, go and give them a subscribe, doing very, very good content over there. And as Chris says, he's over there as well doing Aston Villa content as well. So we will see what happens at the weekend. Obviously, guys, if you have missed the live stream, then obviously watch it back and leave your score prediction and leave your lineup as well. There's my lineup going across the bottom of your screen. Few changes. Not going to lie. I do think there will be a few changes as well. But until then, it is goodbye from both of us, and hopefully for a very, very good game. And can Liverpool end the bad Anfield run, or will Aston Villa do the double over Liverpool? We shall see as well. But enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye bye for now.
Up the Villa.